Good morning to all. First, let me thank the organizers for including me in the keynote, especially being the first one. And I'm going to speak to you about our new approach to educating student inventors. I must caution you in the beginning that this is a work in progress. This actually started during the COVID-19. But I'm going to present that work in progress to you today. Now, besides being a nano-biomedical researcher, I actually started a graduate program which has about 75 students. And during the COVID, we got really responses from the students as to what to do. And that led to this particular approach that I'm going to talk about. So I'm president of the Nano Proda Association that started in 2008. Actually, I became the president in 2019. And this association have been working with the 12 different universities in the state of Florida, bringing all nanotechnology researchers together, and students lead those conferences. So what I would like to do today is really talk to you a little bit about who we are at the NAI. And I will start with the President Obama in 2014. He said, where an idea or invention can make a difference, the world calls America. Just defines who we are. And in fact, Paul Romer from Stanford said, innovation now is the primary driver of growth, prosperity, and quality of life. And our own David Kapos, who has been in many of these meetings, he said, the NI is a breakthrough for our country. It couldn't be more timely to have an organization like this to be championing innovation. So NAI was established with many goals, and I'm going to focus on one of the goals, educate and mentor innovative students. In fact, I'm fortunate to be part of the NAI as a small group when we started to discuss about creating an academy of inventors that started at the USF, and that ultimately became the NAI that you see today. I was the initial, for the early stage, first 2 years, I was the vice president, I was a member of the board, and I'm glad to see that NAI has grown to this day, to this extent. So when we talk about innovation, we talk about disruptive innovation. And we are at disruptive times. We have simply come out of the COVID-19 crisis. We have economic crisis, energy crisis, climate crisis. These are really disrupting times, not normal times. So we got to think about the elements that I perceive as the elements of disruptive innovation. The first one, we really got to get away from the traditional accelerator type of innovation. We got to go into the co-innovation or hyper-innovation. That really trying to put the innovation in the overdrive, but not leaving out the very important component, the students, the trainees, the people actually that make the innovation happen at the young stage. So in this slide, you see that the hyper-innovation begins with the collaboration of co-innovation labs, and you see that three main components in the innovation. University, of course, that's what we champion at the NAI, and of course the corporate challenges, that's what usually does the acceleration, and of course the entrepreneurs, the three components. So we got to change our mindset from innovation to co-innovation or hyper-innovation. Element number 2 is the element where we talk about the collaboration, a deep collaboration between academics and industry. Very, very important because, again, at the NAI, we actually kind of promote academic innovations, academic inventions, but we cannot leave out the industry part. Because if we leave them out, none of those innovations actually make to the public domain, make to the societal benefits. So we must think about the innovations that becomes really collaborations between the university and industry. So you're talking about from the university side, you have the faculty and students. From the industry side, you have the talents, you have the resources, all those coming together. A deep collaboration is the second major element of that hyper-innovation or co-innovation. The third component is what I felt in working in the nanotechnology field is this transdisciplinary collaboration. Because really a disruptive innovation occurs when there is a transdisciplinary collaboration. And you see all the components there. Obviously, it's happening again in the framework of university and industry, number one. Number two, you actually have the synergies of interest, you have the capacity building, and you have the metrics and measures, and you have the learning issues. Each of these have many, many different components that bring into the game, and transdisciplinary innovation or collaboration is going to be a very key important ingredient of that hyper innovation. The last thing is very, very important is what I call the triple helix model. This hyper innovation must involve three components, not only the academics, industry, but also the government. It's very, very important that the third component comes into picture. In fact, in the state of Florida, we have the I-4 corridor. That's a component that always comes and support the students. So when industry and the university are collaborating, is I-4 corridor steps in, and you will hear that a lot. At least there is one session where Paul Soul will be describing this. And putting these students as being part of these industry academic collaboration is a very, very important component, and that will drive the hyper innovation. So that's the triple helix model. And with that in background, and what we started during COVID-19 is this Pharma-Academic Industry Network, or what we call as PIN. And I'm really going to present it to you as a case study. So the PIN was built with four goals in mind. First, that it must involve, these are the founding principles of PIN. A peer-to-peer interaction is very, very important, because that's when student innovator will learn a lot by having that peer-to-peer interaction. Industry connection is a critical ingredient of the PIN. Of course, it creates a learning environment where all stakeholders are there, starting with students being the primary component, faculty, industry personnel, and so alumni, anybody who is with industry that could actually help with the peer learning, all that is part of that learning environment for the students. And of course, the collaboration. This idea actually came to us from working with the students who wanted internship in industry all the time, because that's where they get the hands-on learning. And that's where we believe that industry academic collaboration can actually go to the next step, next generation. And we must learn. In the last conference, FNAI conference, we learned that the invention or inventiveness occurs between 3 years and 11 years of age. But the acquired inventiveness actually comes when they're in the student. In the high school, undergraduate level, graduate level, postdoctoral level, that's where they're learning the acquired ability, how to innovate, how to invent. So it's very important that we actually take care of that part. Otherwise, the innovation actually stops. So we actually created two components for this. One was the Industry Advisory Council, where we actually recruit industries to be part of it. And second is the PIN or Pharmacy Network. And then we have also created what we call an Entrepreneurial Academy. Three things actually bring this network together. And network is set in LinkedIn system so that anybody can participate. As opposed to today's conference, it will be always a hybrid approach. There will be people in person, but there will be anyone from anywhere in the nation can connect and join in when the PIN conducts its meeting. One of the key components in the PIN is that there is a bi-monthly meeting, and everybody can participate in that meeting. So we, in this short period of time, we have accomplished a lot. We have actually gathered a network which is about 1,000 people in it, including students, including faculty, industry personnel, the alumni, all of them together. We have about 32 industries which are actually participating right now in this, and I'm here to invite you all, those who are connected with industry, to actually join this P network so that this can be national. And next one is actually we're talking about the ecosystem too. There are a number of things. I mean, I'm not going to really go through that, but I tell you the network has reached a point where students not only are able to do their internship, but go from place to place anywhere in the nation to do their 3 months to 6 month internship and learn a lot. And that actually sets the stage for their invention and innovation in their career. So we are looking at career option profiles, the blogs, the regulatory affairs, professional society scope of practice report. All this information we actually put in there so that students can benefit from them. So at the end, it's a student-centered innovation academy. This is what we visualize. It has 4 components: research, innovation, evaluation, and training. And we actually create what's called learning materials. We create the learning mode initiatives, all different formats where any student from anywhere in the country can actually benefit from it by going to another place. We are simply make it a network happen. It does involve the mentoring network. It does involve the entrepreneurship academy, both of them together, working together to achieve this goal. So we follow the 4PI model that was published in the Harvard Business Review, and you're looking at the purpose, the process, product, and people. All those 4 components are taken into account. We also take into account the innovation, influence, impact, and inspiration. Without those 4 components, 4PI, this will not be successful. So what I want to do today is to probably share with you the schools of the future. These are invention or innovation schools of the future. And this is what will actually lead to what I call the fourth industrial revolution. And I wanted to leave you with some thoughts in terms of, is this time for FNAI to actually play a role in educating this young generation in a different way? I mean, we have really devoted and succeeded in the FNAI in terms of changing the culture of the faculty. I think I now see in my university, and I'm sure all of you see in your universities, that inventions are actually cared for when promotion tenure is taken into account. So in the faculty level, we have done a lot, but this is time now to really change that to student level. What can we do for the next generation? Now we're talking about this theme of this conference is defining the future, inventing for the next generation. So that's where the students come in. And so we should also think the academic invention, whether FNAI can play a role in collaboration, better collaboration between industry and academics, because that's a key role. So we are looking at those 3 components being together: industry, academics, and students together. Should FNAI create and foster FNAI student innovation or entrepreneurship network to enhance national innovation ecosystem? So these are the questions I'd like you to think. And with that, I'm actually going to close, and I would like to thank you for your attention.